Growing up, my family had this thing about hoarding cash. My mom and aunts, they would literally stash money in random places because they felt that putting it anywhere else but their bank or their mattresses felt too risky. I completely get it. It feels safe. You can see it, you can access it, you can touch it, it's yours. But here's the problem. Keeping too much cash or money in your bank account is actually costing you thousands of dollars. And I'm not just saying that. I built my entire wealth and spent the past 6 years doing the complete opposite. Right now, currently I'm 24 years old and 90% of my entire net worth is invested in the stock market. I'm talking about $600,000, maybe more, not in the bank, in different types of accounts. And that's because I've watched what happens when people keep their money just sitting in their checking account doing nothing. And I used to be like that. And so today I'm breaking down exactly why you shouldn't keep your cash in your bank account, and more importantly, what you should be doing instead. And while you're watching this and you feel like you relate to any of these traps, comment down below because I guarantee at least one of them will hit home for you. Reason number one, the inflation trap. Let's start with the big one. Cash is kind of like a plant that you put so much work into and take care of all the time and spend so much effort trying to get, but it never really grows. In fact, it doesn't grow at all. All it does really is collect dust and wither away because of something called inflation, which is one of the biggest reasons why everything is way more expensive than it was just a couple years ago. Here's a personal example that you may relate to. Men's haircuts used to be like $20 back in the day. Now it's like $50 plus if you're lucky. And honestly, I know a lot of places that charge way more. No hate to any barbers, but it's definitely got a lot more expensive nowadays. I'm sure I'm not the only one to notice this, so let me know in the comments if you do too. And this isn't necessarily because haircuts suddenly got much better or the barbers discovered some revolutionary technique that made, their fades way better. It's really because of inflation. Their supplies, their rents, their living costs are all rising. So unless they want to go broke, they have to raise the prices to meet their expenses. And this happens everywhere you look around. Grocery stores, your cars, education, pretty much everywhere, not just haircuts. And just look at this. Housing, education, medical care, food, everything gets more expensive year after year. Now, currently inflation right now is running at around 2.9% this year. That means if your money is just stuck in, a regular checking account or even stuffed under the mattress, your money is losing around 2.9% of its purchasing power every single year without you even doing anything. Your cash isn't growing, but everything around you just keeps getting more and more expensive every single year. So for example, let's say you had $10,000 sitting in a regular checking account. 5 years ago, it might technically still be $10,000 a day, but in terms of what it could buy, you've just lost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of purchasing power. And that's the trap. It feels safe because the numbers don't technically change, but you're quietly getting poorer and poorer without you even noticing it. Reason number two, the false security problem. This is a psychological trap that gets everyone, and honestly, it got me for a while too, I'm not gonna lie. Having a big pile of cash in your account, gives you this false sense of security, like you've made it or you're doing well financially because you have an extra zero in your bank account. But here's what actually happens. Too much cash in that account makes you want to spend it. It tempts you. And there's literally so much data on this. People making 6 figures, good money, are still living paycheck to paycheck because they see that big number in their bank account and they start to create these narratives to try to justify, spending more because, they feel more secure. You see money, you want to spend money. It's basic psychology. That big number or small number can make you feel rich and make you want to start justifying purchases that, wouldn't normally make sense. Why not spend thousands of dollars on a brand new orange iPhone? I have $15,000 in my bank account. That actually happens to people, and I'm not gonna lie, that happens to me all the time. I try my best to fight it off. It just happens. We're just like that. And so me personally, I don't like to leave it up to chance or my own discipline. Just look at my screen time. So that's why I automate my money to be taken out of my account and move straight into my investments, different brokerages, the second I get paid. And I have friends and family who, felt safe doing the complete opposite, keeping all their cash where they could see it, where they feel like they can touch it. And now they're just starting to invest in their 40s and 50s. And, by this time, they've already lost so much time and therefore lost a lot of money. And so if you're not investing when you're young, you're probably going to have to work way harder and longer than you really needed to. And who really wants that? Reason number 3, you're more vulnerable than you think. Here's something most people don't think about at all. If all your money is just sitting in one account, you're a way easier target. Just think about it. What happens if someone gets your debit card info? They could wipe out your entire net worth with just one transaction. And it's not just about, dropping your wallet. It's also about scams. Your info could get stolen, the banks could get hacked, systems go down, things happen. And so when everything you own and worked so hard for is just sitting in one little nice checking account, that's what you're doing. You're leaving it up to chance. You have almost zero protection if something goes wrong, and you're putting all your eggs in one basket. And, this is kind of embarrassing, but I used to think that, getting scammed was just like 1 out of a million chance. It's not for me. Nothing's gonna happen. But a few years ago, I got scammed out of almost $4,000. I was using this platform called Gumroad to sell this products, and one day I woke up to hundreds of notifications of emails every single second. I learned that it's a scam called email bombing, where somebody uses code or AI to sign up your email to hundreds of thousands of newsletters so they flood your inbox to hide more important and sinister notifications like bank transfers. And that's what happened. Somehow somebody stole my login information, probably bought it off the dark web or something, and switched my bank info with theirs and transferred $4,000 from that platform to their own bank account. And when I saw this, I immediately started tweaking out. I contacted my bank account, I contacted the platform, and they knew it wasn't me. It was literally a bank account going to Russia. I just lost all that money. And when I figured out the banks were gonna help me, I tried to take it on to myself. I somehow found the scammer's email address, emailed him and told him that I was contacting the FBI. I'm pretty sure I filled out a report on them. And funny enough, a couple days later, he responded with good luck. That was it. The money was gone forever. I never got it back. And this really just showed me that even though the banks could see that it wasn't me, they're not your friend. They will really protect you, and it's not as secure as you really think. And honestly, I got pretty lucky that they didn't use that info to sign into my bank account. Imagine if I had all of my money in my checking account and someone just logged in, transferred it to theirs. You wouldn't be able to do anything. And that's why I like to have my money spread out around different accounts, different brokerages, high yield savings account, stock brokerages. If something does happen like this, I wouldn't lose everything. And that's why diversification isn't just about your investments. It's about where you even keep and store your money. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's scammed before. So if you've ever been scammed or know somebody who's had, I'd love to hear your stories. It helps everyone out. Misery loves company, right? So let me know down in the comments. Reason number 4, the opportunity cost is massive. Now, this is the one that's honestly the most important and that really fires me up. And this is not just about, losing money to inflation or spending it on stuff that you don't need. It's about the thousands, if not millions of dollars that you're not going to make because you're not taking advantage of compound interest. Let's say that you're 22 years old and you invest around $500 a month into an index fund averaging around 8% returns. By the time you're 50, you'll have over $700,000. But let's just say you had everything in your checking account and then you wait until you're 30 years old to start investing. You'll have less than half of that just by waiting 8 years. And that's really the beauty or scary part about compound interest and investing. It's not necessarily how much can you invest in, it's really about when you start investing and how early. And every year that you don't do so and you just keep your cash sitting around and doing nothing, you're not just losing what you could have, you're losing what it could have become. And that's really the cost. It's not the $10,000 you have right now that's just sitting in your bank account. It's the potential 6 or 7 figures that you'll never see because you were too scared to invest in and the bank account is a lot more safe. All right, so now that we went over the reasons why keeping your money just in your bank account is a bad idea, what should you actually do with your money? First things first, you want to actually figure out how much money you need to actually save. And this is what's called an emergency fund. And that's around 3 to 6 months of expenses. And this is basically your, oh crap, money. If any emergencies happen, you'll be okay because of this money. Here's the most important part of this. You don't want to keep this emergency fund in a regular savings account. Well, what you want to do is put it in a high yield savings account. And what makes it high yield is the APY, the interest rate, is a lot higher, almost like 7 or 8 times higher than what traditional savings account with Chase, Wells Fargo, or Bank of America has. Now, me personally, I have a couple high yield savings account that I use for different savings goals. It's all free to sign up. It doesn't really matter. You have 1 or 5 different ones. But what you want to make sure is that it's FDIC insured, meaning that your money is safe and backed by the government. And 2, the APY or interest rate is competitive. I think right now you can get anywhere between 3.75 to around 4.5% interest rate. And so if you don't have one yet, just take around 5 minutes to sign up. I'll leave a link in the description with all of my top ones, some of them that I do have. Just choose any of them. Just make sure that it's FDIC insured, that has a competitive interest rate, and just take 5 minutes to sign up. It's completely free and totally worth it. And so after you sign up for your high yield savings account and fund your emergency fund, I want you to stop saving, and anything else above that emergency fund that you have, I want you to automate it into your investments. Now, again, with these high yield savings accounts, you get anywhere between 3.75 to 4.5% interest rate, but that's not good enough. It's really the bare minimum of what you should be doing with your money. Investing is the only way you're going to beat that average, beat inflation, and actually grow your wealth. And I've been investing since I was 18, and the majority of my portfolio is straight up in just boring index fund and ETFs. Super low risk, hands-off type of investments, and it just grows over time. And I literally made my entire portfolio public. I have a couple of videos talking about it, my exact strategy, literally my entire portfolio and what I'm investing in. And I also made everything that I'm investing in, public on this app called Blossom that's for free, that you can literally see and get notified in real time whatever I'm investing in. And you can even copy my strategy, which I don't recommend. I just want you to look at it for inspiration. I do post when I make, my new investments, but it's all out there. I'm really transparent with what I'm investing in. And I do this because I want to show people that it's not as scary as it seems to be. And if someone like me, someone who didn't grow from money, someone who wasn't taught as a kid, someone who didn't have, parents teaching them about anything about personal finance, if I can learn, so can you. And that's kind of, why I'm making these videos today. So I hope this helps. And I really want to stress about automating it, because that's the absolute key to everything about this. I will die on this hill. Automating is one of the best things that you can do with your money, especially with investments, because it takes all the guesswork, the mental work out of it. And it makes sure that every single week or every single month that you're investing into your future and your money is working hard for you. And the best part is, if once you set it up, you don't even have to think about it anymore. Every time you get paid, that money automatically goes where it needs to go. It goes into your high-yield savings account for emergency fund. After that, it goes into your investments, it goes into your bills, everything. You remove the psychological battle, you remove the temptation to spend, you remove, all of the mental labor to, press a couple buttons. And this way, for sure that your money is working hard for you, so you can focus on the better things in life, like being happy, your relationships, and making more money or using more of it to what you actually want to do. But the bottom line is, keeping money in your bank account, hoarding that cash, it feels safe, but it's actually really one of the riskiest things that you can do. And so if you want to avoid all this and set up your own money system, your own automated payday routine, here's a video where I go all over it. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.